Hello, welcome to episode 16, and today we are going to be painting on a bag with fabric paint. So yeah, I hope that if you bought something new that you washed it and dried it, and then also I'm going to show you here in the video, you need to iron it flat too. Just give me a second. So if you don't have a stencil yet, you can go into the Facebook group with the Da Vinci apps Facebook group, and it will be in the featured on the top of the group. Or you can go to my Facebook page, which is Charity Lowe's Art, and you can find the stencils there too. Hopefully this is a one-day thing, and if we can get it done in time, like before the video's done at 12 o'clock, I might show you something that I've been working on for the developers. A little sneak peek for the both of them. So, yeah. Let's get going. And just get some stuff going here. Okay, so we're gonna pick our stencil. We're just gonna do classic mode. You can do AR mode if you're doing something that is gonna take, oh, we don't need to do that right now. Sorry, we're not doing that yet. We gotta iron it first. So I already preheated my iron, and I folded the bottom part because it was just an awkward shape. And also you don't want to accidentally paint on the bottom because you won't be able to see the design. And my iron just fell apart. So just iron it flat. If you don't have an iron board, just use what I'm using, which is a towel folded in half. It's recommended to be painting on 100% cotton. So have it set up on cotton or the highest setting you can have for the fabric. Okay, I think that's good, nice and flat. I'm also gonna just let's unplug this, get this out of the way. So I don't accidentally burn myself. I'll take that stuff off my table so I don't accidentally paint it. Accidentally moved my camera too much for something, so, and then we'll go to the app, which I selected the stencil I want to use, and then I'm going to size it up to where I want it to be using classic mode. So if you are doing a bigger project, you can make a anchor out of fabric and you just pin it on there. I used safety pins, and just make sure the surface is flat while you're working on it so it's more accurate and it can actually read the code because it needs to be flat, the anchor. So you can use Taylor's chalk if you want. I find it a little awkward for positioning my hand, but I've done it before and it's doable. Or just a chalk pastel, soft pastel pencil. I'm going to use the soft pastel pencil. It's not recommended because it can stain the fabric still, but I haven't had any issues, and it's not like we're doing this, creating the sketch on the fabric. We are just tracing the design that's already there in the app. So you're going to want to put one hand on the fabric so it doesn't move too much, because it will. It will move a bit because it's not a canvas. So I'm going to try to keep this very simple for this video, but you can do more elaborate designs if you want, but it'll take a little longer as it naturally would. I think the flowers are probably going to take the longest for tracing. I am just pretty much tracing the outline. I am not doing the fine details because I'm going to be painting over it a few times and I'll lose those guidelines as I go. But just the basic shape. So for those who don't know what app I'm using Vinci AR Art Projector. I have promo codes for it, which for the iOS, it's charity, all caps. And then if you need one for the Android, you need to email me at the email that's posted in the description of this video. For some reason, Android, it's not easy to get an promo code that works for everybody. It's all personalized for Android. Oh, you can hear the fabric rubbing against the mic. Sorry. I'm just going to move my mic here so that it doesn't do that. Or at least it shouldn't do that. We'll see. I think next week I do want to do a photorealistic portrait because it's been a while. And then the following the following project, I will let you guys choose, but I am dying to do photorealistic art right now. I'm just going to do the bottom parts of these flowers, and then I'll work on the wheelbarrow. So if you're not using the same stencil as me, the steps are going to be the same. I'm just trying to make sure that's nice and flat. Okay, that part's done. Now I am going over the fold, but once we get the cardboard underneath it, it should flatten it out enough for painting. We are almost done with the tracing. Okay, we will not need to use the app anymore, so I'm actually going to say goodbye to this camera. It's this one. I'm just moving that out of the way, turning it off. We are done with that. That is blocking the view. Okay. I'm just adjusting things for the rest of this video, so it's just easier to see what we are up to. So if you haven't done this already, grab a large piece of cardboard, and then you're going to put it underneath the fabric you're painting on, trace it and cut it out. And then you're going to put it underneath the layer that you are going to paint, because it does leak. This fabric does leak through the to the next layer. I learned that the hard way, even though I knew better. I forgot to do it the first time I painted on fabric. So it is recommended that you spray down to make it damp on the fabric so it doesn't curl up, because it will curl up temporarily while it's wet and then it'll flatten out again. The only issue I have with that is that the color that you're going to put on will kind of bleed. So yeah, you decide what you want to do with that information, if you want to spray it with water just lightly, or just paint over it and have that wrinkly effect. But again, it'll dry out flat, so you don't have to worry about it. You're also going to iron it afterwards. So here we go. You only want to do about 4 layers of paint. The first layer is going to make it so it doesn't the paint doesn't seep through to the fabric. So you're just going to use white. And a little bit of water to help spread it out. It's a very thin coat of paint. So I'm using fabric paint. If you don't have fabric paint, get fabric medium and mix 2 parts fabric medium and 1 part acrylic paint. Couldn't speak words there for a second. Oh, why is the volume doubling again? There we go. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the same thickness all the way through. Just make sure it's covered. Well, make sure you cover the entire area. I personally prefer to use, I personally like to use small brushes. I'm actually going to take that iPhone. I'm going to steal it and use it to see my reference photo. It's to help me help me figure out what some of these lines are, because some of them are a little bit strange to me, even though I traced it. So for dark fabric, this is a very important step, especially if you do not have paints that are designed for dark fabric. Just adding a little bit of to help spread that paint. If you guys have any questions during this live, don't hesitate to ask. And as soon as I see it, I will answer whatever questions. Or even if you just want to chat, it's always nice to chat with people. Once I get these flowers done, the rest is going to be super easy. It's just little delicate areas. Do you guys hear my birds in the background? I think they want to be part of the video. Hi, I'm just wondering Wait, I'm just watching this time so I can learn from you and get the supplies. Where did you get your stencils? I posted my stencils on the Facebook group, but I actually took them from Canva. So shout out to Canva. Okay, now it's time for the bigger areas. And this shouldn't take too long. Oh, I dropped some paint. Oopsie, making some mess here. It's okay. Everything will work out. It's both a blessing and a curse to make things look easy. I think it's easy, but I also painted 2 jackets and 3 bags already, so I've had some practice. I also watched a ton of videos, and I just I'm letting you guys know the tips that I learned from watching other videos. One thing I learned is do not mix the types of fabric paint because sometimes they might not mix well, even when when it's on dry surface, and then put another type of paint on top of it. I also learned from experience that not all fabric paints are the same. I have tried 2 different ones. Deco Art Textile is my favorite so far because it's very thin paint and it's flexible afterwards. The only thing is that there's limited colors to this, but if you learn how to mix colors, then there should be definitely enough colors for you to make almost anything you want. Is that black material fun to paint on? It looks really nice. It is a little bit more difficult. You need to get fabric. You either need to get fabric paint that's meant for black fabric, or you need to do a base coat of white, and then maybe you also need to mix a little bit of white to the colors, the base colors, when you're doing the blocking of the colors, so that it's more opaque. I'm going to be using a technique that would work for both fabrics using the same paints. Almost done. Now, some people wait another day to work on it, or a few hours, just waiting until it's completely dry before you move on to the next. I am not patient, so I'm going to take a hair dryer. So I'm going to turn off the sound for now because it's going to be super loud. I'm just using my hair dryer. Okay, it's dry, so we can do the next step. Forgot we need paper towel. Okay, so this step, I'm going to do it as if I was painting on black, which is adding a little bit of white to the colors I'm using. So let me see. We have pink, yellow, and orange for the flowers. And I do have pink, so I'm going to use that. And I am going to mix. And we're just painting in the majority of the color of that object right now. I'm just going to mix one paint at a time and work on it. Oh, did I make a big, where did that noise come from? Now this layer, you want to try to make it solid. You don't want to have any gaps if you can. I'm not going to try to make it exactly like the stencil. Put your own creative flair on it. Have fun. Experiment. And then we have a little bit of yellow. And also mix that. Mix it with some white. Make sure you clean your brush in between each thing. Now I do have an orange paint that I can use, but I kind of don't want to waste, I want to try to avoid wasting paint as if I can. And red and yellow make orange. So I'm going to mix the pink and the yellow. Because pink is just white added to red. I'm going to see if this works. It might actually turn it into skin tone. I don't know. Maybe that's not going to work. I tried. Actually, I don't have an orange. I have a gold. So I'm just going to add a little bit of red to it. Should be good. Just one drop of red. And a drop of yellow. I think that's pretty good. Okay, now it's time for which looks like a lime green. I have lively green. It's not lime. I'm gonna add some of that. And I actually think that's pretty close to what I need. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to make it opaque. This would work really well with black. Black fabric to paint on. And there we go. There's our green. To brighten that up. I'm going to use a smaller brush for this because it's smaller areas. This brush has bristles that are sticking out. Sometimes what helps is you dip the paint into it, the paint, like you dip the brush into the paint and then you just twist it. And sometimes that helps collect those bristles and put them in one spot. Or I could just buy some new paint brushes, because I've had these ones for a while now. And sometimes my kids like to get at them. All of these leaves are the same color. It would have been kind of nice to have a different shades for different types of flowers. If you want to do an ombre, like ombre coloring on it, paint it while wet and then it'll blend. But if you want it to be more cartoony, you can just do solid colors all the way through. I don't know a better word for cartoony right now. So this will be layer 2, which means we'll only have like 2 more layers that we can do before it gets to the point where the top layer will peel off while you wash it. You want to try to keep this pretty thin. We don't want to add too much paint on the areas. That will also help prevent the peeling of the top layer. but you want it to be thick enough that it looks like you painted in the entire area. It's nice and solid. We are almost done with the greenery, and then we can work on the wheelbarrow. There we go. The word has come back to me. I had hard times with words sometimes. Okay, and now we're going to do the wheelbarrow, which it's the same kind of yellow. The top part's the same kind of yellow as the flower we did earlier, so we should have done that. We should have done that while we were doing the flower. Is there any other parts that's... Oh, come on. I was just checking to see if there was any part of the wheelbarrow that is also yellow, like the handle, but it's not, so I don't have to worry about that. Hopefully I have enough paint to cover all this, because I used it for the orange. Oopsie. I'm going to use a little bit of water to help push it for a longer period of time. Give us a little bit more extra, or at least the illusion of extra, which works just fine. You don't have to worry about it being too thin. And now it's time for a brown. I do not have a brown. Let me just check. I'm going to check to see if I do. I don't think I do. Okay, so brown colors. Basic colors mixed. Favorite. Blue and orange, or purple and yellow. Those will all make brown. So I'm actually going to do the red and green, and I'm just going to add it to the green I already have. I don't want to waste paint. Let's see, it's a pretty pale brown, so we can actually add, I think I'm going to add a little bit more green, just a little bit, because I think I added too much red, just a dot. And then I'll add some white. I think that's good. And then just a little bit of white. There, I think that's good. So this will be for the entire wheelbarrow, the rest of it except for the wheel. I'm going to add a little bit of water to help make it easier to spread it across, because it's not spreading very easily. So just trying to do some thin layers. We're trying to avoid having thick layers, because it won't last as long. Especially if you're going to be washing this. We are almost done. And then we can do the black wheel. We do not need to add white to it, because it's darker than most fabrics that you're going to use, if not the same shade. can't get any darker than black. But if you want to do, if there's going to be an area that's black, that's touching the black fabric, like there's no color in between it, do like an outline of a lighter shade, like a gray or a white, whatever you think might look best. Okay, and then it's time for a bit of black. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to use a smaller brush for this. Oh, it's going to bleed a little bit because I had too much water on the brush. You can do a couple of layers of this black if you want. I think this is going to be the only layer I'll do though, because I kind of like more of a grayish black than the pure black, especially with how soft these colors are. Okay, that layer's done. I'm going to turn off the volume again so I can blow dry it, and then we can move on to the second step, well, not the second step, the third layer. Okay, that's dry. It does kind of have, it's darker on one side and it's lighter on the other side, which surprisingly that worked out perfectly because that's what it shows in the reference picture. So you could do another layer of the blocking stuff, because it's like, do another layer of like what we just did. Or just go with it. Just go with what it looks like, because it just gives it a little bit more of an artistic flair. Now we're going to do the finer details, the finishing touches. I'm just going to add a little bit of that original color to each one of these that I mixed earlier. Just a little bit, because I don't want it to be too dark, but I don't want it to be the same shade as what I already have. Oh, look at that. It's already 11 o'clock. Now I think I'm going to make it a little bit darker. After I've done this, the pink flowers here, we're going to take a bit of a break. Just enough to have a coffee or a glass of water, stretch your legs. Oh, did I add red? Oh, whatever. That's fine. Red works. That was an accident, but that's fine. Red works. I'm also like, there's no outlines in this reference, but I'm going to add them anyways to have more of a sharp edge. Make them pop out a bit more. The heart doesn't have any lines in it, but I'm going to do an outline on it too. And there, we're going to take a break and we'll come back. So, yeah, see you in a bit. I'm going to grab my favorite drink and then I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Because I have wet paint on my table, I can't put the computer over here so it looks like I'm looking at you. But if you do have any questions, please ask. This is a good time to do so. If you just want to say something just for saying it, that's good too. So. I am not the developer of the Vinci app. I am just an artist that really loves it. And yeah, so just letting you know. I feel quite blessed to be able to do this for my job, which is teaching online, making ads for them. And yeah, I also manage the Facebook group too, making sure nothing pops up that's not supposed to be there. And also get to approve posts and stuff, which is pretty much the same thing I just said. My specialty is what you can see in the background is portraits. I love doing portraits. I love doing them in graphite and colored pencil, but I'm letting you guys choose what you guys want to learn. I'm just going to show you the basics for the other stuff. Not going into super complicated stuff for other stuff, but when it comes to portraits, I will show you every step I do to create these photorealistic drawings. This jacket here I painted. These are actually my pet birds. This is the most complicated I've gotten for fabric paint, and yeah, I wore it out and about not that long ago, and it was fun having people talk to me about that. Sorry, I don't know why the director thing's on again. Not supposed to be on. So yeah, my birds and my drawings. Anyways, let's get back to business. I'll finish drinking that later. So next is the yellow. We're just going to add that yellow to what we already have. Just a little bit, not a lot of it. I might actually just use this pure yellow for this, which you can, because you already got the lighter layers underneath if you're doing a black fabric. You can just use the paints as is now if it's black fabric you're working on. And I don't want to do black outlines. There is no black outlines in the original reference. There's not even lines in the original reference. So I still want it to be nice and soft. Unlike any other paintings I've done so far with the fabrics. Now the orange, which I think I'm going to start with adding a little bit of red to that orange we made, and then see if that's okay. And then if not, I might add a little bit of yellow. So just doing one step at a time, making sure you don't overdo it. You could always adjust it little by little. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need a little bit of yellow. We can steal that yellow that we put. Maybe not. Maybe there's not enough. But if you had a lot on your plate, go ahead and steal that yellow. One drop. There's a lot of paint buildup on this. I think I might need to add a little bit of red and yellow still because it's not dark enough. We'll do 2 drops of red and 1 drop of yellow. I'm getting paint all over my hands, but that's just natural. I think that's dark enough now. It's more on the red side than the yellow, but that's okay. No, that worked out pretty nicely, I think. And that worked out real good. Okay, now we're going to do the green, which we added white the first time around. So we're just going to do just regular green. Maybe add a little bit of blue to make it even darker. I don't like mixing black, but a little bit of blue. Just 1 drop. It doesn't take much. It's a magic color. Blue to make it look darker, yellow to make it look lighter. So I'm going to do the stems and outline the leaves. It's so small, like such a small details that I don't think I'm going to worry about the little tiny center lines on the leaves, because this is the smallest brush I have, and it's just going to make it look like the entire thing is dark green, which it's not. I don't want the entire thing to look dark green. Just trying to follow the image, the reference photo for when it comes to overlapping. So I'm always looking at the reference photo while I'm doing this. Made that a little bit too thick, so I'm going to try to pick up that paint in that area and move it someplace else. Halfway done that section. Could add some words to this if you want, like bring on the spring or something like that. So I would go into like Canva or some other, like even word process would work too. Just type out what you want it to say and choose your favorite font and use that as a stencil. Getting close. Okay, now we can do the details on the wheelbarrow. So we got the green, we're trying to make brown. So we're gonna add a little bit of red at a time to the green until we get to the right shade we want. A little bit at a time. That's nice and dark. Might just add a little bit of that lighter we mixed earlier so that it goes a little bit further and it's not too much of a contrast, because I still want it kind of a light lines. I'm actually going to do the outline of that handle slash resting, what do you call it? I don't know what it's called. Let me know if I should add the brown around the wheel or just leave it plain. Tell me in the comments. I haven't decided yet. I'm having a hard time figuring out what I want to do. Just going to add a little bit of water because it's not smooth enough for me. I want your opinion. Should I do an outline around the center of the wheel? Let me know, or should I just leave it as is? I'm going to do the rest of it, all of it except for that part, until everything else is done. So please, what do you think? I want your honest opinion. So I see 3 lines going all the way across. So I'm going to cut it into thirds the best as I can. And I decided to do the outline of the wheel brown. Just the inside, not the outside. And there we go. We are done. That is technically 3 layers, which is good. You could do a 4th layer if you need to, but don't try not to do more than 4 layers. Okay, so you're going to want to let this dry for at least 24 hours. Obviously we can't do that in this video. But after it's done drying for 24 hours, then you're going to take a either another piece of fabric or even some parchment paper, place it on top, and then iron it to the highest settings of the type of fabric you're using. And iron it for about 5 minutes, and then it's good to go. You can wash it. It should stay. And yeah, what time is it? We got an hour and we got 30 minutes left. I'm gonna show you one of the things that I've been working on, but I'm gonna clean up first. I'm gonna be off camera for a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've been wanting to do this drawing for quite a while now. This is a wedding drawing of our wonderful and amazing couple who developed the Da Vinci Eye app. I'm going to actually meet them in person and show this to them when I go in Seattle in April. Sorry, I can't speak words. Yeah, I'm going to go to Seattle in April. It'll be the first time I meet them in person. I've been doing video calls for them for over a year now, probably 2. I'm not sure. It was a while ago. And yeah, I'm excited to show them this. It's not finished yet. Still got a lot of work to do, but I just really wanted to show you. Let's do. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be working on this on the live video here. I think I'm actually going to call it quits for today. I know it's a shorter video live, but yeah. I'm going to ask one thing for you guys for me to do is if you guys want me to do any portrait, I'll even mail it to you once it's done. If you want a portrait done that we're going to do in our live videos, send me an email with the image and I can do that. That would be fun. We'll do the drawing together and then I'll send you the one that I made so you can have something a little extra special for yourself. So, yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm sorry this was a short video, but I hope it helped. You guys have a wonderful day.